silence has been super loud throughout this period. Nigerians should not forget that Peter Obi was nowhere to be found when they were talking about the military invasion.
Yes.
No, how is that going to change anything?
I wonder.
How does that change anything? All the ones that he has been talking about, who has acted on that? You know, aside from that, Peter Obi himself actually did come out. I understand the point that people would expect that from very strong political quarters there are conversations, either acceptance or criticism as regards the latest update on this invasion. I understand that comments are very important to either support the motion or kick against the motion. However, you should not hold a person accountable as though they're the president of Nigeria. Their contributions mean little to nothing because they are not in a position where they can directly influence what happens in government. But yes, he has also come out to talk about it, and according to him, every Nigerian who is in their right senses or in their right mind should be worried about such a comment made by the U.S. government. It's a whole long tweet right there. I was hoping that we could have that displayed on the screen. However, maybe as the show progresses, we'll definitely have that put out there on the social space.
Definitely. And you see how somehow lots of persons are politicizing this whole talk about the Christian genocide situation. You know, and it's so sad that we see all of many of our politicians talking about the fact that, hey, this administration are not the ones that are responsible for the Christian genocide. You know, this administration, they're not extremists. You know, some other person saying that the opposition party are going too far, you know, in fighting against this very administration. And everything we see on the social space, especially when it comes to politics and politicians, is that they are trying to politicize this very matter. And as much as possible, I think it is important that people begin to learn to work with data, especially with our government officials. Because right from the very first time we saw Senator Ted Cruz made this statement, what we got was a counter. And that counter just came out from the place that where we're in Nigeria, these things are not happening. But he presented the data. We did not present our own data. You know, so we just kept talking about the whole situation without presenting data. Look at what Daniel Boala talked about. You know, there was no data as it is. More like countering what the US have said
without any substantial
data or information. And I think we also need to learn international relation as it is. We need to learn how to communicate as a nation, you know, in the international space. We're being accused of a particular situation. What can we say to breathe or dwindle that kind of comment and then put ourselves in the right place as much as possible? We don't see all of that happening so far. But we hear that the president will be in the United States today, and we're going to be getting updates on what their meeting is all about today.
Now, aside that, at a high-level meeting in Abuja yesterday, ECOWAS was raising the concern, and it was warning against the growing concern of the threat to democracy and the security in West Africa. And yesterday, when we were having that conversation, one thing that we reiterated countless times was the fact that it's becoming a growing concern that most African countries are gradually sliding into the military government, which would waste away the years of so many years of progress that has been made. You know, we moved for a democratic government, a government where people are able to express their feelings, express their thoughts, where the nation is concerned about its citizens. We know the characteristics of a democratic government. But according to ECOWAS, now what the West African leaders are gradually doing is manipulating the constitutions to suit their own needs and, you know, not paying critical attention to the security infrastructure of their nation. And because of that, they think that there is a threat to democracy and security here in West Africa. And I mean, where is the lie in that? Where is the opposition in such a comment right there? So aside that, we see Wike's loyalists also head or stormed the National Secretariat of the PTP, and they install Abdurrahman as the acting chairman. Maybe before the end of today, someone else will invade there, kick that one out, and, you know, assumes the position of chairman. But yeah, the tussle with the PDP is still ongoing, and we're here for it, definitely here for it, to give the updates as much as they unfold. All
right, let's see what the PDP would do in this time and season. But of course, away from that, we also hear that the president is preparing to appoint new ambassadors for Nigeria amid this growing diplomatic tension with the United States. Do recall that there has been calls for the president to appoint ambassadors, you know, to represent Nigeria in various countries. As it is, I'll hear this morning that he's working towards that, appointing new ambassadors as it is. I also hear that, you know, some of the persons who spoke to newsmen actually spoke on the condition of anonymity. They stated that some of these nominees for the ambassadorial position, they've actually been screened by the Senate, but they've not, their appointments have not been confirmed as it is. But we see now that the president is moving towards that direction, that we can have ambassadors, represent us, internationally in various parts of the world as it is.
So we're looking for ambassadors, but just yesterday, Bashir Dalhatu was talking about how Nigeria is not a colony of the United States of America, and that we owe them no explanation for how we run our domestic affairs.
Yes.
But you said something from the start of the show. We need to learn international relations.
Surely.
We need to know that regardless of the fact that Nigeria is an entity on its own, we also are part of unions. African Union.
Of course.
We're part of the United Nations. We're part of ECOWAS, which means that we can be called out on our excesses
Surely.
at any point in time. So while the means of the United States quite unconventional and might be breaking a certain kind of law, but you see, it is not out of place for another nation to raise concern about how certain activities are being carried out here. Otherwise, we would say it's none of our business. When the war between Israel and Hamas, we talked about it here countless times.
Yes.
We have heard activists talk about it here in Nigeria. The same thing with Sudan. We see the brutality that is currently ongoing there by the RSF towards the Sudanese people.
Yeah.
We have talked countlessly about nations of the world that are currently experiencing one level of security, insecurity,
Yeah.
well, one level of unfair
Violence,
treatment,
yes.
of violence. We speak about it here, and sometimes Nigerian government even try to intervene
Of course.
by the letter. So how then, when it gets to your own point or when it gets to your own turn, you're saying we're not a colony? Of course, we're not a colony of the United States of America, but it's not out of place for a nation to see something that another nation is trying to play oblivious of and draw their attention there. Everyone is on their toes now.
Very.
If you can see the body language from Sunday up until today, everyone is on their toes.
Surely.
They can only make a lot of comments here and there, but if the issue is not addressed, the issue is not addressed.
It's not.
And whatever happens afterwards, I mean, they'll have themselves to blame
Of course.
for that.
And you know that no nation, can actually exist on its own.
Absolutely
you definitely
not.
must have to be interdependent on
Absolutely
other nations
not.
as it is. And one way or the other, whatever thing happens there affects the world in one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Because Nigeria is actually a very strong economy. Look at our oil sector, for instance. I mean, we export our crude, to various parts of the world, and the United States is one of those countries that benefits from the exportation of our crude. And so one way or the other, if all of this is being shit aside, it's going to affect, global business as it is. We'll make those transactions as much as we do, But here in Nigeria as well, record that the Anambra election is coming up this weekend, and we see that the new INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amopitan, he's traveled down to Anambra State as at yesterday to call all of the political parties together for them to sign the peace accord. Election violence in this part of the world has become something that has been very consistent in various different parts of the world, different parts of the country rather. And almost every time we have elections, we always hear pockets of violence here and there. And this peace accord is one of the things that has been, one of the steps that has been taken to ensure that all political parties involved in the elections will not be involved in violent activities during the election. And that's what he has done, traveling down to Anambra State, and the peace accord has been signed. And let's see what happens come Saturday, for the election. We also see that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, they've announced that the country is on track to reach 2 million barrels of oil per day by 2027 and 3 million barrels per day by 2030. We had the vice president of the upstream that is talking about the vice president of the upstream regulation there. He says that the company's growth, talking about NNPCL, is built on technology, efficiency, and decarbonization, meaning that Nigeria is not just producing more oil, but better oil, cleaner, smarter, and more profitable oil at this point in time. So they are trying to see how they can leverage on technology and then provide as much as possible for us in Nigeria. But that being said, this has set the tone for the conversations we are going to have this morning, and now you get to know that the program is super packed. All you need to do is just stay here with us as we give you the rundown of the program. We'll start off with Today in History, where we're going to dig at some histories, concerning, both Nigeria and of course Africa or the world generally. We get to dig at deep histories and stories that shaped and continue to shape the world that we live in. And away from Today in History, we'll move straight to News Story, where we get to unearth discoveries and breakthroughs that are reshaping our understanding of the world. And from News Story, we'll move straight to Did You Know, where we get to review surprising facts, hidden truth, and little known wonders that spark curiosity and expand your perspective. And from Did You Know, we pass the ball to Martha, where she gets to play doctor, and then she gives you a daily dose of wellness wisdom, from smart habits to expert-backed advice. This morning she told me something in my left ear, which I'm not going to be telling you. That's for me. I think I've consulted you this morning, right? Dr. Mark.
Go and follow what I told you. Man is not there.
Of course, away from health tips, we move straight to Tech Talk, where we get to break down the innovations, gadgets, and digital shifts shaping tomorrow's and, of course, today's world. And from Tech Talk, we move straight to the 7:30 hour, where we get to give you the review of the papers, your window into today's stories, reviewing the Nigerian dailies. And from 7:30 we'll move straight to the 8 o'clock hours, where we get to unveil the stories behind humanity. We call it the Human Chronicles. And at 8:30, Victor Ijoma is going to be right here to bring you the latest scores, thrilling highlights from the world of sports. And by 9 o'clock, myself and Martha were back here in the studio for the big conversation. Do stay with us. After this break, we're going to begin with the first order of the day. Welcome back. You're still watching Rapiid on right here on Rapiid Television, and right now I'll begin with this day in history. And truly, today it's a very peculiar historic event that occurred, as we saw that Barack Obama became the 44th president of the United States after winning the 2008 election, and of course he served 2 times in office. Also, he was the first black president in the United States of America. There you see it on your screen. On November 4th, 2008, Barack Obama was elected the 44th president of the United States, becoming the first African-American president. And that was a big-time history that he made, in the United States of America. And he served his 2 terms there in the United States. Yes, and that's what I have for you today in history.
All right. President Barack Obama there. All right, let's talk about what scientists are discovering. And I feel like every OG knows this.
Yeah, sure.
Especially when you guys are friends. But yes, scientists have proven a connection between the brains of best friends, similar to telepathy, which means that there's this synchrony that helps friends understand each other deeply, almost like reading minds. And you know that when you have your best girl or your best guy with you, sometimes you don't even need to say anything. They understand.
Yeah.
You know, something is happening around you in your environment, and you guys just look at each other and you burst out laughing.
Communicated already.
That's it. If you have not gotten to that point with your friend, are you really friends?
You know.
If you are really friends, you guys know almost exactly what you're thinking. Or you have very unconventional ways of passing messages across. How do I look at my friend and they automatically know that that's what I'm trying to talk about?
You know.
It's very, very true. But yes, this is about future tech. They have found that the brain of close friends can actually synchronize during conversations and shared experiences, and this helps to form patterns that look strikingly similar to telepathy. Now, using the brain scans, research observed that when friends interact, whether they are telling stories, listening, or they are sharing emotions, their brain waves almost always aligned. It's a very beautiful discovery. At least this is one way for you to know if you're really friends with someone.
Truly.
Do you guys synchronize in your thoughts? That's pretty much it. That's what scientists are discovering, or what they have discovered today.
Very interesting as it is, and just like you said, it's something that we experience over time, especially when you're with your best pals, there and there. But of course, let's straight to Did You Know, and let's get to find out what is going to make you shout, oh, I didn't really know all of this before now. But yeah, we see that studies show that the more time you spend on TikTok, it affects your brain. Now, scientists are saying that, or they have proven that TikTok literally shrinks your brain and kills your attention span. Now, we're seeing people on constant daily basis. They are always there watching TikTok videos. And the thing is, TikTok videos are fast. They are short. As much as possible, you wouldn't know how you've scrolled past thousands of videos in just a split second. And what scientists are discovering is that the more you continue to watch those videos, the more it shrinks your brain, and the more it affects that part of your brain that helps you make important decisions. Because right now your attention span has been reduced drastically, and many times you don't get to know, you know, you don't even see the symptoms coming on board because you just carried away. It has become addiction, you know, beyond TikTok, every other social media application. You know, the moment you begin to watch those short videos, you just keep going on and on and on and on and
you don't
on.
even realize that you have spent so much
know,
time
in there.
It's true, but you know, I think I've said it here one time about Chinese TikTok.
Yes.
If you go to Chinese TikTok, what they push there is majorly innovations. So you could track their technological developments, AI innovations.
Yeah.
You know, this is what you can see majorly on Chinese TikTok. But on Nigerian TikTok,
Oh, it's all fun.
what you will see is all fun,
Yes.
all games. You see people dancing. There's one challenge from another. Now it's interesting because that's also a creative process.
Yes.
But you have the tendency of getting swamped in it because you are carried away scrolling. I wanted to add something now, but when I intentionally want to be like really unproductive, I just scroll.
Just scroll.
Yes, when your mind is pacing very fast, just scroll there. I mean, it helps you laugh.
Truly.
I mean, it's something.
It is. Here in Nigeria, there's this popular talk. Once you have data, you can never dig. And that's what a lot of persons actually do. You know, some would say due to the challenges we're facing in this part of the world, one way for you to relieve yourself is just go ahead and watch some of these videos and laugh at your sorrows, you know, as much as possible. But yeah, reduce it so that you don't get to shrink your brain. Reduce it so you can as well be productive, but at work and in your personal creative process, and that's what it is.
Absolutely. Now let's go on to health tips, and today we're talking about autism, autism spectrum disorder, and it's called ASD. We have so many of these figures: ASD, ADHD, PCOS, all of this, OCD, you know, all of them. But today we're talking about autism spectrum disorder, the ASD. What is ASD? Now, the autism spectrum disorder is a development condition that affects how a person communicates, behaves, and interacts with others. Now, symptoms often appear in early childhood and vary widely in severity. Varies, honestly, because there are some that self-harm, there are some that are very violent, there are some that are very calm and redundant, but it varies. Now, what are the common signs of ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder? Difficulty with social interaction or communication, repetitive behaviors or routines, delayed speech or language skills. And particularly for repetitive behaviors, you see these people, especially the ones that often hurt themselves, you see them consistently hitting themselves at a particular place. You know, you'd watch videos on Instagram and all of the social media platforms. You see families that deal with children that are autistic, and this is one of the most difficult things to do, to be honest, because there are days when you don't even really know what to do. These children want to harm themselves, but you just put yourself as a punching bag for them so that they don't hurt themselves. Some of them now they put helmets on them so that they don't hit themselves consistently or hurt themselves like that. But yes, those repetitive behaviors and routines are the common signs of ASD. Also, delayed speech or language skills and unusual reactions to sounds, smells, and textures. Sound, when there's a loud noise, is very disruptive to their brain. When there is a strong smell also, and textures. And that's why you see some of those people, they'll tell you they don't use these perfumes because it's harsh and it's very triggering for the child that has, you know, autism, you know, and all of that. You just need to be like extremely careful around kids like that. Now, what are the causes and the risk factors of ASD? Now, genetic factors play a major role for ASD. So there's someone in your gene, there's someone in your family lineage or your bloodline that had that before. So you have a high tendency of coming down with that as well. Now, environmental influences, e.g. parental infections or exposure to certain drugs, can cause autism. Family history of autism may increase the risk as well. Genetics, family history, almost the same thing. All right, how can you manage and support a person with ASD? Early diagnosis and intervention is key. And you can only do this behavioral therapy you see on the next and special education programs help with communication and learning when you have identified that early enough.
Yeah.
Because what most parents fail to do is they don't understand these patterns in behavior, these repetitive behaviors we talked about.
Yes.
You know, and because of that, they don't know the appropriate schools to take these children to. Now, because of stigma, some parents often do not want to take their children to special needs school because they feel like they're going. Of course, society has a way of doing what society will do.
Right.
Will stigmatize you, will try to call you names, will try to shame you for things that you probably have no control over. However, it's important for you to prioritize the well-being of your child by taking them to special needs school. You know why special needs schools are super important? It's because these people are trained to care for people like this.
Sure.
So maybe every child, in 5 minutes, you teach a child a mathematical formula and they have already gotten it. For a child with autism, it might be a bit slower and sometimes a bit faster than what, because they're actually really fast when they're running. They're actually very fast. Some of them, their brain functions like beyond the regular capacity of a normal human being, right? So you see, if you have identified that early enough, it becomes easy for you to start to look for ways to care for that child, put them in environments where they can learn alongside people who experience the same thing as them. It becomes super easy because these teachers are also trained to look for creative ways and technical ways to care for children with ASD. So early diagnosis and intervention are key to the managing and the supporting of a child with ASD. Now, aside that, behavioral therapy and special education programs help with communication and learning, and family and community support improve the quality of life. By community, I mean a community of people that experience the same thing as you. That's why therapy is effective. That's why counseling is effective, because it is about healing within a community of people that experience the same thing as you. So void of judgment, void of stigma, void of anything else. It's just all of you experiencing that same condition, finding ways to care for each other and finding ways to rise above that which you live with. So that's also very important. Now, promoting autism awareness. Yes, not many people are aware of this disease called autism and you know how it affects children, but autism is not a disease. Okay, this illness, autism is not a disease. It's a different way of experiencing the world. Now, promoting understanding and inclusion helps people with ASD thrive in society. Affirmative ways of saying things. But yes, not necessarily a disease, but these people, let's say, the explanation for this many times, they'll say, if you have 47 chromosomes, I think that's what they taught us in biology, you have 47 chromosomes, they probably have 48 or 49. 49 chromosomes, you see. So it's just an excess of what is meant to be in the body. And so when there's an excess of that, it's just like an excess of salt in your meal. You know what it does to your meal. Little of salt to your meal, you know what it does to your meal. So it's the same thing with the chromosomes. Little of it or too much of it also has effect on the human body. And this is why we have things like the ASD. After today, hope you take better care of people that experience ASD. And this, of course, would be the end of the health tips for today on Rapiid On.
Thank you, Dr. Martha. I just remembered a friend of mine who was autistic at the time, and trust me, these guys are some of the smartest people on earth. This guy, so bright, you know. But of course, yeah, now we know, learn how to treat those with ASD, no stigma. If you have them as children, take them to special needs school, you know, and that's the best thing you can do for them. Well, let's move straight to Tech Talk this morning and talk about what is trending in the world of technology. You said the concept of artificial intelligence, it will never go extinct. As a matter of fact, we'll keep talking about it over and over again because almost every day there are newer inventions you know, regarding artificial intelligence. And we see that you know, OpenAI, which of course is the company behind ChatGPT, they have announced new safety rules that stop the AI tool from giving medical, legal, and financial advice. You know how a lot of persons we talk to AI and ask this symptom, what is it all about? And AI is going to give you like a medical kind of advice.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
You know, it's a good thing that they're actually stopping that here. You know, that's what they are doing. This, they are moving towards stopping AI from, or ChatGPT from giving you that kind of advice. Medical advice. Because you go and put there that you are having a headache and they say, and they give you kind of medication that you don't understand.
And then you have brain tumor and then you are scared. You're scared.
You know, I know we've had situations where we'll took it on the news like twice, where people, two persons, went to AI or ChatGPT and they asked ChatGPT for medication for a certain symptom, and they took it, and one of them was hospitalized. The other person took a medication that the person, I think, committed suicide within that particular area. Now, OpenAI is trying to see how they can regulate this to ensure that ChatGPT is no longer responsible for giving out those kind of advice to people. And you look at our finances, people want to plan their finances around what ChatGPT gives them, and then you type in a certain prompt, and it gives you certain advice regarding your finances, and then you want to follow it hook, line, and sinker, forgetting that this is a machine. It has the tendency of making mistakes here and there, and you begin to do some of the things that it has told you to do. That legal advice, people no longer want to get the services of legal professionals or lawyers as it is. You go to AI and say, give me this particular document on a legal perspective, and AI is going to draft something for you. You that has no knowledge, you just copy it and then you want to go and present it somewhere, and it's so crazy for us to do that. Right now, I think what they've done is reduce. In fact, they're trying to take it away totally, so you can no longer depend on ChatGPT for legal, financial, and medical advice as it is. According to them, the reason is simple: decisions involving your health, money, or legal life can have serious outcomes, and so OpenAI wants to prevent harm and ensure that real experts remain the trusted source in these sensitive areas.
But you know that the finance part is very arguable, right?
Yes, it is.
There are people that have been able to build businesses from ChatGPT.
Yes.
Through the prompt, sometimes with the structure. There are people that I know that have built businesses with ChatGPT. And although it doesn't give you like an in-depth knowledge of what you should do with your money, but it tells you, it exposes you to platforms that are verified and that you can invest your money in. Okay, so it's not for you to act on that. It's for you to go back and do your research again. So if ChatGPT is telling you, invest your money in Apple stocks, invest your money in Dangote Refinery, because of course Dangote Refinery says it's going to be selling its shares 2026, and the dividends from those shares will be the biggest in, did he say the world or in Africa or in Nigeria? Can't remember that now. But if ChatGPT is telling you that these are places where you can most likely invest your money, it's not to put your money there almost immediately. It's for you to go and research these platforms and see how they work, what their percentage is like. It's because we're lazy, that's why we go there and it tells you something and you take it verbatim and act on it, you see. But that's still a tool. But the financial advice, I think that's arguable. For health, these are professionals. If you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the knowledge. Right. No matter how much you read, you cannot be a doctor unless you are specialized to handle certain issues. It's the same thing with a lawyer. But you see, when matters of finance, you can read. It's just like matters of leadership. Right. You cannot say, yes, you cannot say a person can never be a leader until they go to leadership school. That's very false. Because that's behavior. And behaviors can be adopted. They can be grown. They can be, you can study that, So, but for finance, I think it's quite arguable. I think, personally. And
I think the key word there is research. Look at the persons that you've seen, make good use of this advice coming from ChatGPT. These guys are smart people as well. They make the prompt, Chat gives them the prompt, gives them the answer. They take that answer, they research on it properly, and then make their decision based on the research and confirmation. But some other person, just like you stated, will just take it and
like
then do exactly what it has told
and
you to do.
then come and demonize it.
The whole thing, that's not how to go. But of course, away from that, we also see that agentic AI is to reshape global banking as customer adoption accelerates, according to reports. It says a new report here says the next big change in global banking will come from how customers use AI, not just what banks do. And so the 2025 Global Banking Annual Review by McKinsey and Company says that agentic AI, which is smart AI that can act and make decisions on its own, will soon reshape the banking world. Now, these AI tools can help people manage their money, compare bank rates, suggest better options, and even make transactions automatically. McKinsey wants that as more people use these AI tools, banks could lose their direct contact with customers. The report lists 4 major changes to expect. Actually, let me read them out. 1, less loyalty. on your traditional banks, it means that AI will always pick the best rates, not the favorite banks.
Absolutely.
That's one. Then two, mix and match. People may use different banks for different services. And then the third change you will experience is less contact. Customers may deal with AI, not bank staff. Now you see that right now it's already happening. Now if you have a challenge with your bank, most of the times you just want to chat with their customer rep, you know, and you know, some already have like a chat bot that you can actually have a conversation with them and they respond to you almost automatically, you know, there. And more access, AI will give more people cheaper financial advice. You know. And then in short, what this means is that agentic AI is set to change how banks and customers interact. Banks that move fast will benefit, while slow ones could lose out. So the future of banking is clear. Your next banker might just be an AI. And yesterday I told you about ChatGPT. You can as well get, you can buy anything you want to buy from ChatGPT. And I think gradually they're just trying to innovate, evolve, and make life a lot more easy for people that uses it.
That's pretty much it. I'm up for development. I'm up for technology, ways to make our lives better. Honestly. Here for it. All
right, of course, that being said, this is where we're going to end it on this very segment. We'll go out on a break and we'll come back to be time for the review of the paper. Do stay with us.
It's decision time in Anambra State. This Saturday, November 8th, 2025, the people will troop to the polls to elect their next governor, and Rapiid TV will be right at the heart of it all. From Onitsha to Nnewi, Agwata to Oka, our team of seasoned reporters will be in the field, bringing you accurate, verified, and up-to-the-minute report as voting progresses across the 21 local government areas of the state. Back in the studio, our anchors will lead in-depth conversations and expert analysis featuring political analysts, civil society leaders, observers, and party representatives, breaking down the numbers, the trends, and the voices shaping Anambra's political future. Stay tuned as we follow the process from poll opening to results collation, giving you comprehensive coverage, real-time updates, and authentic voices from the people. This Saturday, don't just hear the news, experience democracy in action with Rapiid TV.
In a world where every swipe, click, or tap is shaping our future, technology is no longer a distant dream. It is the heartbeat of Africa and the world at large. From innovations to gadgets to startups and digital lifestyles, Tech Up with Victor takes you round. A show that makes technology simple, practical, and exciting for everyone. Join us every week on Rapiid TV as we break down tech trends, spotlight African innovators, and connect Africa's digital story to the global stage. Tech Up with Victor, where innovation meets you.
Missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapiid FM Umuahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapiid FM. And on X, it is Rapiid FM 965. Tune in to Rapiid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapiidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapiid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all Caesar Radio.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplified voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on StarTimes Channel 176, Nightcomsat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
In a small village in South Africa in 1980, a boy was born who would one day inspire the world. His name was Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Raised in the village of Mvizo, Mandela came of age during a time of deep racial division. Apartheid, a system of brutal racial segregation, would come to define his country's politics and his life's mission. Mandela studied law and joined the African National Congress, fighting to dismantle apartheid through peaceful resistance and later through armed struggle when peace was met with violence. In 1964, Mandela was sentenced to life in prison.
My name is Akio.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Neil Bliss.
My name is Akava. I go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out
Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
Welcome back. You're still watching Rapiid on right here on Rapiid Television. Right now it is time for the papers and the review, starting with the Nigerian Tribune. And we start up with Anyanwu's faction takes over National Secretariat, talking about the PDP crisis. And he says, I have resumed today as acting chairman, says Abdul Rahim, as police shut party office. Stay away from Anambra election, IGP wants IPOB, ESN orders, and 6 parties sign peace accord. 2.8 million in voter registration, according to INEC chairman. Vote according to your conscience. Obi of Onisha charges electorate. And federal government releases exemptions, reliefs on the new tax reform laws. 15% petroleum tax. Premature import restrictions may lead to supply shortage. Higher pump prices, LCCI warns. And troops kill 19 bandits for incursion into Shanono local government area in Kano State. Africa loses $135 billion annually to lead poisoning, according to the World Health Organization. NSA service chiefs meet over Trump's stance on Nigeria as a pursue diplomatic solution. Obi tells federal government pursue diplomatic solution. Obi tells federal government. And U.S. claim reflection of incorrect intelligence, according to the National Orientation Agency. ADC kicks against U.S. military threat. Adeleke seeks peaceful engagement between Nigeria and U.S. Afenifere calls on Nigerians to unite against foreign intervention. Opposition behind face-off. Wike making that statement. Well, these are many more you can find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper. And yes, the headlines there says Trump, NSA service chiefs meet as the U.S. President intensifies threat to ground operation airstrikes and should be part of U.S. attack, could be part of U.S. attack in Nigeria. That's what Donald Trump says. And talking about that invasion as well, right? I saw it just a few minutes ago from U.S. lawmaker Riley Moore calling out the former Kano State Governor, Kwankwaso, about his involvement in Sharia law and how that has contributed to the killing of Christians and what have you. Now, in that tweet, he said, "Governor, do you care to comment on your complicity in the death of Christians? And then you instituted Sharia law. You signed the law that makes so-called blasphemy punishable by death." That was what he put to Kwankwaso. And Kwankwaso came out and responded. It was a whole long tweet, but he said, "I've noticed with increasing concern the heightened pronouncements on Nigeria by President Donald Trump, and this follows his designation as Nigeria as a country of particular concern. It's important to emphasize that our country is a sovereign nation whose people face a different threat from outlaws across the country. Now, the insecurity we face does not distinguish between religious, ethnic, or political beliefs. And the United States should assist the Nigerian authorities with better cutting-edge technology to tackle these problems, rather than posing a threat that could further polarize our country." He put all of that there, and I don't know if that was before, that was after Riley Moore's tweet, but whatever, there was that exchange between both Kwankwaso and Riley Moore. And sometimes these comments that they make, it often feels as if Nigeria forgets. Yesterday, I came across certain post that was made by Sheikh Gumi. Sheikh Gumi many times have said that we must stop killing the bandits in the forest, that they are responsible for protecting the forest, and some very ridiculous tweets that they've come. Thank God for the era of social media. These things cannot be wiped off the face of the earth almost immediately. So when you want to arrest, you arrest the people that have made incriminating comments like this. And these, Riley Moore has pointed out one. Sheikh Gumi has been pointed as the second person who made mention of something of that sort. So you see, with these tweets, we probably might be able to trace some of these people, because if you think that people who are in the forest killing other people and causing havoc to other people are protectors of the forest, and so they should be untouched, there's a question to your mindset. And that mindset that you have, you must have passed it across to other people. And that kind of mindset will definitely sponsor violence, whether we like it or not.
Very true. But I recall that popular aphorism. If insecurity persists in a nation for more than 24 hours, then the government actually has a hand in it.
Because look at that.
I will say severally that one way or the other, it is impossible for the government not to know those that are involved in some of these insecurities in our nation. And we keep asking the question, why are they not doing the needful at this point in time?
Countless times people have been accused about perpetuating violence. I can remember, I think it was what's his name? I can't remember his name now, but there was a time he had a picture, Matawale, yes, with the president and one other man, and then Nigerians raised a concern to say this man has been pointed out many times as one of the people sponsoring terrorist operations here in Nigeria. How are you fraternizing with such a person? How is this person not being looked into? You know, and he even has access to you at the end of the day. So even if they don't know, we could check the social space to see comments that are incriminating, comments that suggest things like this, and then we start by investigating the people who have made such incriminating comments as well, because of course they will be the first suspect.
Definitely.
Let's go on to talking about some of the headlines still on the Vanguard newspaper. Right there we have Oba Akiolu to Lagos government. Your demolitions must have human face. And today we still see that Sori yet again is being wanted by the I think it was the Inspector General of Police in Lagos State for also participating in the protest against the demolition of houses in Lagos State. An activist must be sought after countless times. But yes, shake up as Navy redeploys 65 rear admirals. That's on page 9. And about 2027, after Ekiti, APC stakeholders more consensus options. We also see, of course, the picture of Bayelsa governor's defection to APC was a grand ceremony yesterday. People from APC, members from different parts of Nigeria went, of course, to witness that and to form solidarity to show them, oh, we support you, keep coming, you know, keep coming. And when he was making comments about that defection, he said something like, I don't want Bayelsa State to be buried with the PDP.
Right.
And really, me, I don't want. I don't want. He said, I don't want Bayelsa State to be buried with PDP as well. He says to stop Bayelsa from being buried with PDP. That also you would find in many other headlines of the news. Anambra INEC vows also to enhance resort management and credible polls. Also, IGP wants IPOB and ESN against disruptions of the elections. And the pension fund investment in the federal government security rise 18.1% to 15.8 trillion naira. Also, security men shot PDP secretariat amid escalating tensions, and NAT faults the federal government welfare claims and demands truth over fiction. These and many more you'll find on the headlines of the Vanguard newspaper.
Let's move straight to the Punch newspaper. Governors battle Wike as PDP factions just for control. And police seal PDP headquarters. Wike backed a chair moves in. The Magum Block films attention ahead convention. Are they going to really have this convention? Well, let's see what plays out for them. Diri joins APC, tax PDP striking, rather sinking ship. Diri joins APC, tax PDP sinking ship. Fresh travel tax scheme worth $1 billion sparks protests. Fresh travel tax scheme worth $1 billion spark protest. You're going to see details of that story on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. And Tinubu moves to appoint new ambassadors amid U.S. tension. President meets Tuga today, and U.S. federal government officials deepen talks today as well. Governor Shipo Amopiton visits Anambra, parties sign peace accord, and OPS Labour reject 20,000 naira note. You know, there was a call for the Nigerian bank to print a higher denomination of our currency. You know, right, we're seeing that OPS and Labour are rejecting that particular call. And NDLEA discovers new cannabis variant, California allowed in Lagos. AMPP bloc sets 12 terms to back Tinubu's 2027 bid. AMPP bloc sets 12 terms to back Tinubu's 2027 bid. These and many more you can find on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper as well. Now, Trump's threat sparks investors' fears as economies split on the impact. Of course, this is one of the impact of that invasion, which we were trying to highlight yesterday. Investor confidence. If there's an invasion, we know there's a disruption of the activities within the state, and it might deter or might stifle growth as well, as we have seen in the certain parts of the world that were invaded by the United States. We talked about Iraq, we talked about Somalia, we talked about Grenada, some of those countries that were invaded by the United States. Of course, the investors will definitely raise a concern. Some of them, of course, would take a step back, especially when it comes to investing in Nigeria after that threat. Until that is cleared, a lot of people might lose confidence in investing in Nigeria. Now, aside that, we also see that the Chad shut their border with Nigeria over U.S. military invasion threat, which is also part of the threat, part of the effect of that invasion, possible effect of that invasion, because imagine that they are close to Nigeria. Chad is close to Nigeria, Cameroon. All of those people might cross their border because they might not want the spill up of the invasion to get into their country. That was announced yesterday by the government of Chad, and they announced immediate closure of its border with Nigeria, and citing that security concerns and the alleged invasion, proposed invasion rather, of the United States into Nigeria. Also, the federal government unveils 50 tax exemption reliefs to cushion new fiscal reforms impact. I saw that this morning on Mr. Taiwo Oyedele's page. You might want to take a look at that as well. Now, report blames the government officials for 74% attacks on journalists. Report blames government officials for 74% attacks on journalists. I would reiterate that which we saw in Niger State, where an entire radio station was closed down by the governor of the state, you know, because of speech. And we claim that we have freedom of the right to speech. Lots of journalists also have been attacked on a daily basis on the field because of their the vocal. The necessity of their job is that they're vocal. The demands of their job is that they're vocal, because they report, they see things and they report as they see. But you see, if we continue to have intimidations from political offices or office holders, as the report has accounted for 74% of these attacks, that means there's going to be a threat to speech, which of course is against the constitutional right of Nigeria, freedom of speech, and the demand of democracy.
Right.
Also, resident doctors kick as the federal government claims payment of 31 billion naira arrears. A shake-up in Navy as Abbas reportedly redeploys 65 rear admirals. Also, Damagun's camp tax defectors, betrayers, as Shetima welcomes Dere to APC. Now, ADC slams Tinubu over Trump's military threat, rising insecurity. PDP, the police shot Wadata Plaza Legacy House as Mohammed assumes office. Togo, Niger, Benin owe Nigeria $20 million for electricity supplied in 6 months. And we can't even owe our country that much. All right, this and many more you will find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Please do well to grab a copy and explore.
Let's move straight to the Daily Trust this morning. U.S. threat, what federal government should do, according to diplomat. We have conveyed our position, House of Reps, making that statement. Pro-Wike National Working Committee faction takes over PDP Secretariat. Pregnancy cases on the rise in Borno IDP camps. Pregnancy cases on the rise in Borno IDP camps. Where Nigerian stocks shed 244.9 billion naira amid Trump's threat. And strike, Tinubu orders immediate resolution. At 1,422 naira to a dollar, Naira records highest gain in October. And parties, voters reject Niger local government polls, Bagos convoy attacked. 19 bandits killed in Kano as border attacks escalate. Well, these and many more you're going to find on the front page of the Daily Trust.
All right, let's take a look at the Nation's newspaper. And the headline says, Diri says, I joined the APC to stop Bayelsa from being buried with PDP. Shetima Akpabio Yowata governors receive defectors to ruling party. Says we tried to salvage it, which is PDP now being referred to, but to no avail. I never wanted my state to be buried with the PDP. Is the PDP buried though? But assets of 6 top banks hit 207 trillion naira. An expert says linkage with MSMEs still very weak. Oyedele unveils 50 tax exemptions and relief, and drama as AG chair resumes at PDP headquarters. Dear Mr. President, please do not let this 15% import tariff punish Nigerians again. Definitely from a concerned citizen. You'd find on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Please do well to take a look at that as well. That's pretty much everything we have on the Nation's newspaper this morning.
Wrapping up with the business day. Nigerian assets fall after Trump's invasion threat. Stock shed 247 billion naira as investors reprise Naira assets. Euro bonds see huge sell-offs. Naira loses 14.61 Naira against dollar. And food price drop offers rare relief for families. Food price drop offers rare relief for families. Anambra's fiscal paradox, when a top-ranking state falls short. We're going to see details of that if you take a look at the business day. And Sim Shagaya on resilience, risk and Nigeria's next frontier. Well, these are many more you're going to find on the front page of the Business Day newspaper this morning. And this concludes the review of the papers. And of course, right now we're going to break. When we'll come back, it will be time for the Human Chronicles. Do stay with us.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
Caesar Radio.
On Facebook, it's Rapiid FM Umahia. On Instagram, it's official Rapiid FM. And on X, it is Rapiid FM 965. Tune in to Rapiid 96.5 FM or listen to us live on our website at www.rapiidfm965.com or radiogarden.com.
Better yet, get our mobile app from the Google Play Store.
Catch the pulse of the Southeast on Rapiid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city.
Hey, Oyanam, all of radio.
This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176. Sat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact. This is Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN. We connect people, power stories, and amplify voices. On Rapid TV, we're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176. Sat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
It's decision time in Anambra State. This Saturday, November 8th, 2025, the people will troop to the polls to elect their next governor, and Rapiid TV will be right at the heart of it all. From Onitsha to Nnewi, Agwata to Oka, our team of seasoned reporters will be in the field, bringing you accurate, verified, and up-to-the-minute report as voting progresses across the 21 local government areas of the state. Back in the studio, our anchors will lead in-depth conversations and expert analysis featuring political analysts, civil society leaders, observers, and party representatives, breaking down the numbers, the trends, and the voices shaping Anambra's political future. Stay tuned as we follow the process from poll opening to results collation, giving you comprehensive coverage, real-time updates, and authentic voices from the people. This Saturday, don't just hear the news, experience democracy in action with Rapiid TV.
Welcome back. This is the Rapiid Dawn right here on Rapiid Television, and it's time for the Human Chronicles, where we get to unveil stories behind humanity and to spotlight the story of one of the brightest minds that Nigeria ever produced. Talking about the late Herbert Wigwe, who was the CEO of Access Bank. But sadly, he died in the year 2024 with his wife and his son at an helicopter crash in the United States of America. But let's go ahead and watch the video, the narration, and we'll come back to dissect the story together.
Now, today, I think we must be the largest bank, at least from a customer-based standpoint, not just in Nigeria, but across the continent. And it is those values that we followed. We found ourselves attracting every woman, all right, to come and bank with us. And it was not just paying lip service to it. It was what we did, making sure that the work-life balance as far as women are concerned. Because, look, how many women have to multitask, women have to look after children, women have to work, etc., have their own societal demands, all right? The only way to make sure that they're just as efficient and comparable to men is to make sure that you have the right tools to support them, all right? So we found ourselves attracting the very best of women, and of course, most women chose to bank with Access Bank. But I'll tell you what we did that is also a bit different. we started a program which was the maternal health care support scheme, which basically enabled couples basically complete their families. Now, you don't know what that means to a family, and more importantly, to women. All right, so again, that pulled most people in. All right, now these things I'm mentioning are not just coming from a biased standpoint. It was because we found the need to achieve a proper balance. All right, and so today we now have a larger community which we call the W community, which basically is aimed at inspiring, connecting, and empowering women.
Great.
At 45 million customers, having half of them as women is a great thing.
It is a statement of fact that death comes with pains. It is also factual that some deaths are extremely painful. The death of Herbert Wigwe, one-time Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank PLC, one of the leading financial institutions in Nigeria, is undoubtedly in the category of one of the most painful deaths recorded in contemporary human history. More devastating is the cold reality that Herbert did not die alone. He died with his wife and first son, and these members of one promising family were killed in one accident at the same time, same location, and same dates. It is indeed a shocking story of three family members passing away in split seconds, like candles in the wind. In this edition of Back in History, we take you through the life and times of Herbert Wigwe. We shall also explore the life and times of the son and the wife in our subsequent videos. Welcome to this edition of Back in History. Herbert Wigwe was born on August 15, 1966. He was born into the Wigwe family of Umuekpe Isiokpo in Rivers State, Nigeria. He grew up with his siblings, namely Joyce, Peggy, Stella, and Emeka. They had fun time growing together in a household where their parents were civil servants and were posted from one state to another. Herbert attended St. Gregory's College in Lagos for his secondary education, and from there, he proceeded to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where he studied for a degree in accountancy. He graduated from the department in 1987. In search of more knowledge, Herbert enrolled in the University College of North Wales for a master's degree in banking and finance, and upon the successful completion of his studies, he was awarded with a master's degree in 1989. Herbert was still hungry for more knowledge and went further to enroll for another master's degree, this time in financial economics at the University of London. He successfully graduated from there in 1990. In 2006, Herbert attended the Harvard Business School Executive Management Program. Herbert was a chartered accountant, having successfully enrolled in the Fellowship of the Chartered Institute of Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN. He was also a fellow of the Institute of Credit Administration. He was also an honorary member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. Herbert was thus fully prepared educationally for the future task ahead of him. Herbert started his professional career with Coopers & Lybrand Associates, an international firm of chartered accountants. At Coopers & Lybrand Associates, Herbert worked as a management consultant. When he left Coopers & Lybrand, he joined Capital Bank as senior manager in charge of treasury and financial services. He worked here for a number of years till 1992 when he joined Guaranty Trust Bank, Nigeria. He worked here for over 10 years, and during these years, he worked in several departments of the bank, including corporate banking, institutional banking, and many more. Here at Guaranty Trust Bank, Herbert rose to the position of Executive Director in charge of institutional banking. Guaranty Trust Bank is one of the leading commercial banks in Nigeria till today. While at Guaranty Trust Bank, Herbert began to nurture the idea of owning a bank. He thought of the various options, such as beginning a bank from the scratch and growing it to stabilization, or acquiring an already existing bank. Herbert gave a deep consideration to the dream and took a decision first to go into partnership with his friend and fellow banker, Aigboje Aiki Mokoede for purpose of realizing their dream of floating a financial institution. They defined the terms of their partnership and they took the decision to acquire an already existing bank. They then spoke with the stakeholders of Access Bank PLC. At that time, Access Bank was ranked 65 out of 89 banks in Nigeria. It was certainly not a big bank. The discussions were successful and Access Bank was acquired. From the time of the acquisition of majority stakes in Access Bank, Herbert and Aigbuje worked assiduously to transform Access Bank to a world-class bank and revamp the bank's branches across the Federation of Nigeria. They also established branches in other parts of Africa. At the time of the acquisition of Access Bank, the bank had few branches. As at the time of Herbert's death, Access Bank had become a global bank having over 600 branches in all 36 states of the Federation of Nigeria, Africa, and the United Kingdom. The bank continued to work strong, making huge profits and expanding from place to place. The bank invested heavily in ICT and endeared itself to customers across board. In 2012, Herbert Wigwe and Aigbuje secured a landmark transaction that saw to the acquisition of Intercontinental Bank, one of the leading banks in Nigeria at the time. By the acquisition, Access Bank became the fourth largest bank in Nigeria. By the acquisition, all branches of Intercontinental Bank across Nigeria were renamed Access Bank. In 2019, Access Bank secured another landmark deal by acquiring Diamond Bank PLC and taking over its branches all over the Federation of Nigeria. Diamond Bank was equally a leading bank in the country with an impressive customer base. With these acquisitions, Access Bank PLC became the largest retail bank in Africa. With its highly impressive status, Access Bank PLC got listed on the London Stock Exchange in 2019. When they started, the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive